So my question is for Ms. Chang. How will your government balance the budget this year when for the past 9 years, except for the election year, you have run record deficits, $150 billion in debt that the Conservatives have added to our federal debt? How will you magically balance the budget while at the same time help Canadians when 13% of young people have no jobs?
刚才呢，自由党的朋友他提出的是一个赤字的问题，他自己呢提出自由党在未来几年呢要有赤字，他刚才已经说得很清楚了，赤字好，赤字好，要有赤字，要借债，要加税。反过来他又说，哎呀，保守党你们曾经有过赤字，那不好，所以这是一个非常矛盾的说法。他们的赤字是好过别的党的赤字的，但是我们保守党是可以有财政盈余的，不仅是今年，去年已经有了实实在在的财政盈余19亿，今年呢才过了1个季度，我们已经有了50亿的财政盈余的，都是白纸黑字写在这里，实实在在的，这不是猜测，不是臆想，是事实。我们去年有财政盈余，今年提前完成任务，有50亿的盈余，而且过去2个月呢，我们有经济增长，外贸出口也大幅度提高，所有的机构的预测，今年下半年加拿大都会有经济增长，意味着我们有更多的盈余。我们已经用事实而不是猜测向大家证实了保守党搞经济搞得好，我们有盈余，可以减税，可以加福利，但是对方的党已经说了，他们有赤字，将来也会有赤字，长期性的赤字，他们没有任何钱去实现他们的承诺。谢谢大家。
Thank you。好啦，你希望選區嘅華裔選民點樣去幫忙或者助選啦，同埋點樣去為選區嘅華人社區服務㗎？而第二條問題咧，目前聯邦政府嘅移民政策對華人社區嘅影響係點樣㗎？
我再用普通话来说一遍啊。我们现在呢，就是向每一位候选人呢，提问2个问题。一个呢，就是作为华裔的候选人，您希望选区的华裔选民如何来争取他们的支持，并且如何为选区的华人提供服务？第2个问题是，目前联邦政府的移民政策对华人社区有什么样的影响？So the first one, we would like to invite.
Did you understand the question?
Elvin Cow. So to answer the 2 questions, the first one.
Questions or answer?
Okay, there's 2 parts. Okay, the first part.
Yeah. So I've talked to a lot of my riding by canvassing and going around to the community, knocking on doors. And the number 1 concern that I hear from the voters of Markham Unionville is about immigration. They know that during this time with the Conservative government that the processing time for family reunification is taking way too long. It's taking way too long to bring Popol Tong Gong Gong over to Canada, and it's important to have this happen faster because they provide family support for current Canadians to excel in what they do and to succeed as citizens of Canada. From between 2010 and 2013, family reunification has decreased by 15%. And so it's important to do this. It's also important that we support immigration and support the immigrants coming in. A lot of them have professional credentials, and it's important that we find a way with other professional designations in Canada to make sure that they can transition and have their credentials kind of validated in Canada so that they can excel in the career path that they had in their upcoming country. And this is very important because in the news this week, we saw that the population of seniors of Canada is equal to the rest of the population of Canada. So we need to bring in young talent to stimulate the economy and support the older citizens of Canada.
Okay.
So actually, you already.
Well, I absolutely agree with what Mr. Kao has said in terms of family reunification. We've seen under the Conservatives less and less families being able to reunite because they simply don't have the opportunity to come to Canada. And we as a Liberal government are going to restore our reputation as a country that welcomes new Canadians, that welcomes immigrants. And when they get here, When they come here with their professional designations, when they come here as doctors or lawyers, as engineers, they should be able to find jobs. And that's a huge problem that the current Conservative government has not been able to tackle. Many professionals, we welcome them to Canada, but then when they come to Canada, they're not able to use their skills. And that is why making sure that new immigrants are able to find jobs and also be able to successfully settle into their new country is also key to what we as Liberals stand for.
Okay, thank you. So this is all your
honor of serving Scarborough North for the past 9 years as the Toronto District School Board trustee and as chair of the board. And I have to say, I've been able to represent our constituents very well. One of the things that I heard about when I first ran in the area was the lack of ESL teaching for the new immigrant children. And so when I became a trustee in 2006, I worked to push to make sure that we are spending more money to support our new immigrant children. At the time, the TDSB was getting $80 million in ESL funds from the provincial government, but they were only spending $40 million on ESL. And so I fought hard, and now, with my motion in 2008, more services have been added to help the new immigrant population in the area. And that's the type of MP that I will be. Someone that will listen to the community, someone that will hear the concerns, and then bring them forward to provide a strong voice so that we can have change in Ottawa.
Thank you, Shaun. Okay, so Elvin, if you...
So I don't really distinguish between the Chinese community and the regular constituents of my riding. I just have a focus of maintaining strong relationships with the community, going out, even as MPs, still going out into the community, knocking on doors, hearing what the values of all the constituents of Markham Unionville are, and then vocalize them in the House of Commons. It's very important to me that not all ridings are equal, so you can't just listen to the political leader all the time. Sometimes you have to go out, find what the values are of the constituents of Markham Unionville. Yes, I know it's heavily Chinese, so I am speaking to them as well. And then whatever their concerns are, mentioning them in the House and kind of make decisions accordingly.
Okay. Yeah, this one is also ask questions to Ms. Chang and saying 家人看医生轮候的时间太长了，能否解决？第二是多伦多的交通堵车太长了。Okay.
So the question is ask conservatives about the Canadians, the doctor to serve is
the waiting list
too little, too long.
It's too long.
I mean the doctor, okay, the physicians, the physicians, okay, in Canada, is too little, too long, and the problem is another problem is about Toronto traffic. The problem is asked.
What's your opinion to solve the problem?
Do you have any problems, guys? Do you have any questions to reply this kind of questions? Okay, Shaun, maybe.
Yeah, Shaun will answer the question.
So these concerns that are in this question is exactly why a Liberal government will be investing. And part of our investment plan is to build infrastructure, to build roads, bridges, to make sure that there's public transit. Because I know from talking to residents who live in Northeast Scarborough, it takes 1 hour and a half to get from Northeast Scarborough to downtown. Because you've got to take the bus, you've got to take the subway, or maybe get on the RT. Whereas driving isn't that much better. If you hop on the Don Valley or the Gardner during rush hour, it will take you 1 hour and a half. That's wrong, because families aren't getting home in time to cook meals for their children. We're having people who go to school commute for 3 hours, 1 hour and a half each way, each and every day. That's why the Liberals are not going to balance the budget. We're going to invest in infrastructure.
Okay, how about the
so the Green Party is similar to that, where we want to invest heavily in public infrastructure. We want to do this because the Green Party is all about efficiency, reduction reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, and it all makes sense from an economic creation of job standpoint and the environment. What we have done in the Green Party budget is that it is balanced and we're operating at a surplus. Where we disagree with the Liberal Party is that we should be operating on a deficit when the Conservative government has already put us in a hole of $150 billion. Even with low interest rates of 2%, that's a cost of $3 billion that could go into additional government services. And the Liberal government wants to go even more in debt. And apparently they don't know much about possible housing crisis, and a difference in a couple fractions of a percentage is going to put us into an even bigger hole in terms of interest payments and government services.
Okay. How about the health problem?
So I just want to respond. First of all, when you look at the country's finances, we as a country are producing enough in order to borrow. So interest rates are really low. But what is key to a proper economic analysis of our plan is looking at Canada's federal debt to GDP ratio. It's at 35%. So we won't end up like Greece, because Greece has a federal debt to GDP ratio of 155%. And because it's so high, they're not producing enough as a country to be able to take that much money out to invest today. But what we want to do is invest now so that future generations can prosper. And part of that investment is also $3 billion that will go towards health and home care. Under the Conservatives, we have seen wait times become longer and longer and longer. Some people can't even find a family doctor. Now, we're not going to go and tell provinces what to do specifically, because we leave it to the provinces to have that flexibility. But what we do need to do is to provide leadership as a national government, and that is why we are committed to a new Canada Health Accord with the provincial governments who deliver health care and long-term care. We're going to have a new plan working together with them, because I have to say, so many Canadians are now aging and getting older. And so many Canadians worked hard their whole lives, only now to retire, to go into their old age, and they have to worry about whether or not they have a doctor. This is so wrong. The cuts under the Conservatives have destroyed our health system. We've got to invest, and we've got to sit down with the provinces to make the right choices together.
Okay, thank you very much.
我想問一個問題呢，就係呢，而家呢申請啲勞工簽證呢就好難。咁啲中國啲大餐館呢，因為呢度訓練嗰啲廚師呢唔夠水準啊，就要向呢個國內呢或者台灣香港呢申請廚師嚟啊。但係而家啲廚師呢嚟呢度臨時勞工呢，全部要識英文啊。咁嗰啲廚師呢就嚟唔到啊。咁啲大餐館呢而家呢好困難，啲生意好困難，同埋呢有啲呢直情面臨倒閉嘅危機。咁我想問呢，而家呢你哋嘅三大政黨呢，對於呢個問題點樣嚟幫助呢啲中國嘅餐館？
Is it okay? Or maybe we can...
Right now, it's very hard to get a work permit in Canada, because all the people who apply for work permit must be able to speak English. And a lot of big restaurants in Canada, Chinese restaurants, the cooks that are trained locally are not good enough. They must recruit cooks from overseas, from China, Taiwan, or Hong Kong. And now the cooks cannot come. And these big restaurants, the high-class restaurants, they are having a hell of a time. And some of them are facing the crisis of closing up. So what are we going to do?
好啦，所以請陸黨 Elvin 回答呢個問題先。Elvin.
I think it's pretty simple in this, and I think the Liberal Party will agree with me. The Conservative government is the government that put in the English language test, and they're deterring a lot of the immigration, and we're not seeing full support for immigrants with the Conservative government, and they're trying to hinder people coming over to Canada, wanting to work, being useful to the economy, and they're not supporting these people. The Green Party would support plans for citizenship integration to new immigrants, so that way they have all the essential skills available, but we don't want to put up these unnecessary barriers to immigrants who can be useful to the Canadian economy.
Okay, Shaun.
That's an excellent question. And I just want to start off by saying that the Liberals are fundamentally different in terms of their attitude towards immigrants and new Canadians than the Conservatives. Under the Conservatives, they have put in new rules that make it virtually impossible for people to apply because of, as Mr. Kao said, the English language requirement. You virtually have to speak perfect English in order to come. And that is wrong, because I can tell you, my mom's English is not good, but she worked hard. She came to Canada 45 years ago, and she deserves the respect that we should be giving to each and every Canadian, no matter their language proficiency. And you heard Mr. Harper, the Conservative leader, compare old stock Canadians and newer Canadians. That is wrong. You've seen the Conservatives put in Bill C-24 that creates two-tier citizenship in Canada. That is wrong. A Liberal government will repeal these horrific policies that only serve to divide us. And the fear-mongering you heard earlier about marijuana and so on and so forth from the Conservative Canada is further examples of how the Conservatives continue to use fear. We want to use hope, and we want to use hard work, and we want to help Canadians be prosperous. We want to rebuild that middle class, and that is why I hope everybody goes out there to vote for Team Trudeau, Mr. Trudeau as our next Prime Minister in the Liberal Party of Canada.
Okay, thank you, Shaun.
Okay, thank you.